Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. I got on X earlier today, and I saw a clip of Cathy Engelbert speaking on Pat McAfee, and I saw a caption that was about Cathy Engelbert maybe turning over a new leaf, and then I saw it somewhere else, and I think they were saying, hey, maybe Cathy has changed her tune about Caitlin Clark, and I watched the video, and I had a thought, and I know that a lot of people who are watching may not be big Cathy Engelbert fans, and I'm certainly no Cathy Engelbert fan, but I think maybe she has turned over a new leaf, but maybe it's not toward Caitlin, as some people suggested that I saw on X. So first of all, let me play that portion that I saw, and then I'll tell you what I mean when I say, yes, she may have turned over a new leaf, but it might not be what you're thinking. So let's go over to an account called simply Michael, a fan account on X. The caption says, wow, do you guys think Cathy Engelbert is turning a new leaf when it comes to Caitlin Clark and how she speaks about her?
Because our season's shorter, now we'll be able to play up to 52 games over the life of this agreement. When I came in, I think we were playing 32. So you need that, and you need those stars. And Caitlin, without question, has been a huge part of the growth of our league. And she's not only an incredible player, but a great ambassador for the game. You've seen her she's done some work with the NBA on NBC this year, and couldn't be prouder how she's handling the moment.
Now, I have not seen the full video. I just saw that clip, and then I went over to the McAfee account and I saw a couple other clips are there, but I did not see the whole thing. So I'm just speaking off of what I noticed there when I went on X and what my thoughts are concerning that. I happened upon that clip on X, and then over on the Pat McAfee show on X, I saw that there are a couple other clips. I looked at some of that, but I've not seen the entire interview. So what we're seeing right there is a portion of what she's saying. And what we hear is Cathy Engelbert giving Caitlin Clark credit for what she has brought to the game, and also that she's a great ambassador for the game. Obviously, we know Caitlin has skill, but she's also pointing out she's a great representative for the league. And you saw the question, hey, has she turned a leaf in terms of how she talks about Caitlin Clark? Now, before I get too deep into my commentary, I want to show you something else. This was not the first time Cathy has spoken well of Caitlin. So we're going to go over to Facebook, and we're going to go back to the rookie season and watch really what Cathy Engelbert said about Caitlin back then. Now, this is a 60 minutes interview, and so hopefully I won't get hit with a copyright warning. And if that's the case, then the link will be in the description of this video. So if you tuned into this and then you notice that it doesn't show the video, only portions of the video, just go to the description of the video and watch. There was rather impressive. You don't often find people willing to call out what we notice. He pointed out, seems like when you mention Caitlin, you gotta mention all these other people. And before I go too far off in that, she obviously did speak highly of Caitlin even then. So it's not entirely a new leaf for her to speak well of Caitlin. But as he pointed out there, she is talking about everybody. After she said what she said about Caitlin, she has to mention Angel Reese, Rakia Jackson, blah, 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 blah. And then he just says, look, seems like you got to mention it. You got to mention everybody. And she doesn't back down from that. She said it is important to recognize everyone. She rightly says people can get injured. And so her point being, you don't want to just build up one person, then they get injured, as we saw in Caitlin's second season, ironically. And we did see the numbers in viewership go down. So she has a good point there. So You don't want to basically just talk about one person is what she's saying, because things happen. But it's interesting to me that she's like, well, you want to recognize the other people, and we'll be talking about this whole rookie class and all of the things there. So what am I saying when I say she turned a leaf, but not the way we may be thinking? And I'm saying maybe because I did not see the whole interview. I don't know if she then went from that to naming all these bunch of people again. But from what I saw, my thought is that there was pressure on Cathy Engelbert, as we see media, mainstream media in particular, doing the same thing. And that is, it's not just about Caitlin. As we have heard players say, it's not just one person, it's me too. And so because Caitlin comes with such motion and with such a fan base and with such name recognition and skill recognition, I mean, everywhere she goes, she's signing autographs, and people are in the stands, and every game's a home game and all the things. And you have pressure. I believe you've allowed yourself to be pressured, many people, including the commissioner, to try to water down the Caitlin Clark effect. Not necessarily because you don't want to say, oh my goodness, this girl, Caitlin, who came in from Iowa, has turned our league upside down, or one might say right side up. It's not necessarily that Cathy Engelbert didn't want to say that, but Cathy Engelbert is under the thumb, the pressure of doing the politically correct thing and making sure I don't make too much of Caitlin, because then Asia's upset, and then we get the privilege comments, and then we got to talk about what was her name, Sheila Johnson. Well, why is Caitlin on the Time magazine? Shouldn't we put the whole league on the magazine? Right. So there's all that pressure, and then the whole racial component, which is the situation where Cathy Engelbert had gotten in trouble during that rookie season when they started asking about the vitriol on social media. And she said, as you heard her say there too, there has to be compelling stories. And she mentioned rivalries are good. And then the WNBA bullied her into coming back and saying, I'm sorry, I said that, and on and on. So that pressure that's there. So what is the turning of the leaf that has her saying, perhaps unapologetically this time and without the need to mention every single person, maybe she just don't care no more. I told y'all recently, a few days ago, that I believe when Adam Silver was asked about Cathy Engelbert staying past the 2026 season, his answer was non-committal. Watch the video, check it out. I'll link it to the end of this video. And I said, it sounds to me a lot like Kelly Krauskopf sounded when she was asked about Christy Sides, and she knew that Christy Sides wasn't coming back. And I did a video then. People were like, oh no, she's coming back. And I'm like, no. And so what I said in my recent video is that it sounds to me like Cathy Engelbert is probably not going to be there. I mean, maybe she'll finish out the 2026 season. I can imagine that. But she might not be there much longer than that. Adam Silver said, oh, we hadn't talked about it. Who says that? Somebody says, is she going to be here? If you haven't talked about it, then you say, yeah, she's going to be here. So it just seems kind of odd. I don't know if it means they want to say goodbye to Cathy or if Cathy wants to say goodbye, because he says she hasn't told me what she wants either. And maybe, just maybe, after everything that they've gone through, she got called out. Nafisa Collier called her out during the exit interview, just totally disrespected her leadership. Rightly or wrongly, she did it. And therefore, there's a lack of respect, not only behind the scenes, but in public. A lot of the players during the negotiations were dogging Cathy Engelbert. Nafisa Collier said that Cathy Engelbert said that Caitlin Clark should be grateful because it wasn't for the WNBA. She wouldn't be making any money, and the players need to be on their knees and all this stuff. And Cathy Engelbert denied the part about Caitlin. And I do believe the truth is somewhere in the middle. I don't believe it's exactly as Nafisa Collier said it, but I also think Cathy said something I've talked about in some of the live streams. Be that as it may, Cathy Engelbert may just be at the point now where she was kowtowing to the pressure of the people who tried to bully her into condemning certain fans, and she knows that if you only talk about Caitlyn, you get it's not just about Caitlyn, it's about everybody. And maybe now, after everything she's been through all this stuff, she just doesn't care. And she doesn't not turning a leaf toward Caitlyn. If it were left up to her, perhaps she would have been giving Caitlyn her just due all along. But oh, the people, so upset. And maybe now she doesn't care that they're so upset. And the leaf that she turned over is that I'm going to speak about what's true, and they just have to get over themselves. And maybe that's because she just wants to get done and get out of there, or they want her done and get out of here. It's just food for thought. I don't know. But sometimes when you're pushed, your back is against the wall, you cease to just try to please everybody, and you just speak the truth. And the truth is that Caitlin Clark has brought a lot to the WNBA. And no, she's not the only person in the WNBA. And an injury does make a difference. But we know that the Caitlin Clark effect is real. And it's gotten everybody paid. There's that. But it fills the stands and it sells merchandise. And you have people talking and interested who weren't before. And I believe Cathy surely saw it before, but the pressure to please everybody made a difference. And maybe now she's like, whatever. The leaf I'm turning is I'm not allowing all y'all to put the pressure on me to deny the talent and the motion that Caitlin Clark has. Just a thought. We'll see how that goes for her in a league that is very activist-like. And now that they got a lot of what they wanted in the CBA, it's probably emboldened them even more. All speculation on my part. But this is the Adrienne Ross Show. As I would say on some other platform where I used to do my writing, my view, my voice. And I welcome yours. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.